All right, we are back. No Look Podcast. Your boy Yo Soy, the man. Goddamn. It's been one of those days, man. Just long day at work. I mean, I had to fucking run sprints to get up here in time. I was even running a couple minutes late. Had to set up this new desk. Got clothes all over my bed, but it's all good. We're here.
Let's just put it this way, it's been a long week. Um,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
let's just go over Tyler's long week. Dating back, last Monday, Chargers versus Raiders. Raiders obviously lose. That same week, Yankees lose to the Red Sox. That same week, the Raiders let's not forget, Penn State loses to Iowa.
Mm.
That same week,
Which you
Raiders
weren't even
lose.
watching that game, but
I,
anyways.
I watched half of it, okay?
Big Penn
I
State guy. All
I
right.
had to work that day, and they for some reason they don't flex a 4 versus 5 team into the 8:30 slot, yet they have them play at 4:30, which makes absolutely zero sense to me. The week prior, Penn State was playing at 8:20, and they were facing Indiana, who's not even ranked. Makes no
Well,
sense.
4 is like prime time for college games, though. Midday, like you get the tailgate going. Like if
You're
you
not wrong.
if you're flexing that, or if you're playing primetime games at 8, half the student section is going to be completely inebriated and unable to even watch or know what's going on in the football game.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that, but anyways, Sunday rolls around. Obviously, at this point, John Gruden's emails have been leaked. All hellfire and brimstone is up in Las Vegas. The Raiders absolutely throw a dud against the Bears,
Hmm.
and then Tuesday hits. They get rid of him. John Gruden resigns as the coach of the Las Vegas Raiders because of said emails, which we could touch on. I mean, it's everybody's heard it. It's all over ESPN. It'll probably be on ESPN and all media outlets for the next 6 months. So there's no point in us touching it or getting political on it. I will
No.
say
Yeah.
it's sad. It is. I'm gonna miss him. A guy that's been your coach for so long, a guy that you grow to love, and then you see your heroes become your enemy. And it's a tough day to be a Raiders fan. Tough week, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we try not to get political on here, but this is pretty major sports news. I mean, I feel like we kind of owe it to ourselves in the podcast just to touch on it a little bit. I'll say my piece. I'm not going to indulge on it too much. And then, Tyler, if you want to elaborate, I'll say, first of all, I don't think anyone should be surprised that, like,
No,
John Gruden had said any of this, even more so that, what was it, 10 years ago? You know,
right?
in the way society was in 2010, 2011, John Gruden, I mean, that was probably, candy and rainbows compared to most of the shit he was saying. I want to say the most upsetting, I guess I'll say, aspect of this is the Derek Carr presser that he came out with. I don't know if that was
Yeah.
today. It's like, Derek Carr, say what you will about him on the football field, outstanding person, human, father, husband, man of God, right? I think he's like the main person after the games, kind of being, I guess, the pastor, sermon, whatever you want to say, holding those kind of ceremonies post game with all the different religious players. To watch him go up there, Tyler, on the podium, and like that was a confliction of his soul. That was like the real life version of the angel and the devil on each shoulder, because like everything that Gruden said was against his moral beliefs, but
Mm-hmm.
you could definitely tell, like, Gruden definitely took a liking to him, took him under his wing. They had a close personal relationship. So he's like, like he was torn. Like he can't go up there and fully badmouth him because he does have some kind of personal relationship with him. So it was hard to watch that because he was struggling. So that was just
Yeah.
my
No.
2 cents.
I did like that press conference. I saw it on Instagram. I saw a tidbit where Carr said you hate the action, but you love the man, and it's so hard for him to sit up there and to speak on it because yeah, you don't like what he did, you don't like what happened, but he does respect the guy after being with him for 3 years. I will tell you this. I mean, Bruce Allen, the guy that he was sending emails to, and there's other guys that were in that email chain. First off, sending emails, that's the worst thing to ever do. If someone wants to put you on email, it's because they want to track what you're saying. You know,
Mm,
you never send emails. Like that's don't ever do that. Like that's just terrible. If you want to talk shit about someone, have a phone call. Have
mm.
a I mean, someone could record you, I guess, but you would think you're on a private line or have people who you trust. I mean, McVay is on the email chain. What's going to happen to him next? But Bruce Allen, a terrible person, as is. A lot of people in Tampa don't like him after he was the GM for the Bucks for a long time, and that's how Gruden and him, you know, became so close, I guess you could say. And I just don't think that, I want to know who's the person behind this. I think it has somebody to do with Bruce Allen or, somebody
Well,
in
it has
that.
to be like a hit, right? Like, there's no
It has to
way
be.
these emails are just sitting on an old email server and miraculously 10 years later they pop up. Like, I feel like it's someone who, whether it's Bruce Allen, like you're saying, or someone who has a personal vendetta against Gruden, or maybe it was the Raiders. Maybe there's something bigger at play here where they wanted him out. It's like, all right, well, guess what? IT department magically found these emails from 10 plus years ago. Let's potentially surface them unanimously, or unanimously, not
Yeah, I
unanimously,
mean,
but
obviously, I don't agree with everything that Gruden said. It's bad. Obviously, he was thinking that he was in the private of his own I guess you could say circle. I just thought the way I look at it, Austin, is I feel like he was surrounded by people that said, "Hey, Gruden, maybe that wasn't the best thing to say," or like maybe we shouldn't say that, but they encouraged it.
mm.
John Gruden got hired to ESPN because he was colorful. The guy has a way with words. He's very good at elaborating on things. He's just an enigma of a personality, and yeah, it's just tough. I mean, I
Mm.
was sitting. I remember one time, Austin, and I told you this story. I was sitting next to him. He was a table next to me in a restaurant, and I was literally not even paying attention to my table, but I was like eavesdropping hard on his. Every other word out of his mouth was the F word. Every other word was, it was
Well, that's
every
what I
other
was
word
gonna
was
say.
this,
You're
but
you're talking about you can't put it in emails. You should be a little bit more quiet with it.
right.
Well, firsthand, this dude does not give a fuck. He's out there in a public restaurant saying whatever about whoever, not concerned with the circumstances really or the
I think.
repercussions.
I mean, this is a tough lesson for him, but I mean, I guess he needed it because he's been in football for his whole entire life. Since he was super young. His dad was a coach at Wayne State or wherever, and it's sad because this is what I don't like. I guess I could say it's sad this guy's been in football his whole entire life, and this is how he's ending it.
Hmm.
That's what's sad to me. It's I don't care what he did. I mean, I care about what he did, but like it's sad that he did that to mess up and ruin and end his career in football like that.
Yeah. So, all right. Last thing about this. Would you like to see Mark Davis step in and coach the football team like his father did years back?
As much as I would love to see that, I do love the interim head coach that we have, Rich, but I'm gonna butcher his name, Bashia,
Mm.
um, Bushia or whatever. The guy is, if you watch tapes, I mean, I saw him on Hard Knocks when he was with the Cowboys. He's electric. The guy, I wanted to run through a brick wall when I was watching his press conference, when I listened to him speak. I mean, he's been in the league forever. He's a guy that knows how to get his guys going, and he has the respect of everybody from what I've heard in the Vegas locker room. Mark Davis, on the other hand, I mean, he might hire like halftime performers, like
Mm.
strippers, Circus
Yeah.
Soleil, some shit like that. And that would be a joke.
Well, he'll keep the revenue coming in. If there's something he's worried about, it's putting
How much
asses in
football
seats.
IQ do you think that guy has? For real?
Not much. He's kind of like I picture him like what's his face? Well, um, Chris Farley and Tommy Boy, took
Right.
him 8 years to get a college degree, and either way, he knew he was going to get handed down the family business. He just steps in. Obviously, spoiler alert for the movie, he does end up doing a pretty good job and saving the company. But yeah, no, that's just pretty much him. He got the team by default. He was the next in line, the heir to the throne. So he doesn't seem like he knows a lot, if I'm going to be honest.
I hate to say it, but I think the Raiders have a better shot of getting into the playoffs now without Gruden and with all this behind them. I think this is going to help them, propel them their way into maybe that 7 seed in the wild card. I mean, to be honest, I was watching that game this past weekend against the Bears, and it was you could tell that it was flat. Like everybody
Hmm.
wasn't there mentally, or they were exhausted, and they were just playing like they had something else on their mind. Obviously, with what everything was going on, and they lost to a if I'm being frank, a very bad Bears team. They lost to a bad Bears team and that they shouldn't have lost to.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. History repeats itself, I guess. Raiders go 2-0 last season. We saw how it shook out. Not that you should be too concerned, as we can see Tyler is wearing his nice Buccaneers hat as they're playing on Thursday Night Football. The old school logo, too, when they went like 0-15 or whatever.
Yeah, back when they played they called it the sombrero.
Really?
Yes.
Hell of a name. But let's get into some more interesting topics. Tyler, do you have the records from last week? How are we looking on the season standings?
I do. Austin and I had a game apart last week. I feel like last week we had more opposing picks than we have in the past, which I like. It's definitely interesting. Austin actually went 11-5. I went 12-4
Hmm.
last week. Obviously the big pick. I mean, I don't know why I keep picking the Lions. I might even continue to do that. I had the Steelers, I had the Saints, I had the Browns. Although Austin picked the Chargers, that was an electric game, no pun intended. Um, the but to be fair, did the Browns lose that on purpose at the end? I mean, they just pulled Austin
Yeah.
Eckler into the end zone. Um, it's almost like they knew Tyler had him.
Right. I mean, more so, I think they just. I can't remember specifically the circumstances, but was it kind of the situation of they wanted him to score so they'd get
Right.
some time
Yeah.
on the clock with the ball?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. Browns and the Chiefs right now. There's definitely some question marks. I don't know about the Chiefs just yet, but I think I'm putting the Browns on my hot seat.
I wouldn't put them on your hot seat though. I would put the Chiefs on your hot seat because I feel
Mm,
like the Browns have had a tough, strength of schedule. I mean, the Chargers are no joke. They're facing the Cardinals this week. I think they're facing good opponents. I mean, the Vikings are no slouches. They can play down to their opponent, I guess you could say. Either way, we'll get into that. Season record so far: Austin 50-28, Tyler is 51-27.
it's a nail biter.
A game separates us apart.
Wait,
I didn't count the Penn State or Iowa. I was too salty about that bonus pick.
wait,
Um,
hold on. 50 and 28 versus 51 and
27.
that makes sense. Never mind. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you're good. Sorry.
So we'll get into it this week. We'll start with the Thursday night game. I mean, it's probably the second quarter right now. Obviously, I always make my pick ahead of time, as does Austin. In Philly, I obviously went with the Bucks, as you can see, over Philadelphia. Bucks have the hot hand. Tom Brady throwing 5 touchdowns last week. I like this Eagles team. They're gritty. I just don't think they have enough for the Bucks.
Yeah, I don't know. There's some questions circulating Tom Brady. He had like a hand injury or something coming
A
into this
thumb
game.
injury on his
Yeah,
throwing hand.
but I think he's playing. I think all three receivers are playing. I think both running backs are playing.
Gronk is out. That's the only one.
Gronk is out, and he kind of made a difference in that game last week. You could see, or not last week. Excuse me, in the Rams game, right? He didn't play, or maybe that was the game he got hurt. You could see a little bit of the difference. The offense just wasn't clicking, like it normally is. So yeah, I picked the Bucks. I will say I'm not sure what the score is right now, Tyler. I rushed home. I haven't seen any of it.
I'm
if it's
waiting.
up
It's
right
on like a
there.
replay right
Yeah.
now.
I will say this is seems like one of those weird games that Philly might.
14-7. Bucks second quarter, 9 minutes, seven
Yeah,
seconds
I
left.
was gonna say I feel like this is one of those games where the Eagles might be scrappy in. I will say right now, what was the spread? 7.5,
I think it was 7 up on just
7 straight.
7 flat. Yeah, on the Bucks.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think Philadelphia Eagles cover the spread in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. That 7 number is so tough this season. I mean, I've been
Mm.
seeing that the Jets Titans game. I was saying how I wanted to bet, my rent on the Titans, and I'm glad I didn't
Yeah,
because I would have been sad. But anything 7 and above, yeah, that's such a tough one. Next game we got, Austin, the London game. I'll let you go first. It's Dolphins versus Jaguars.
mm.
Obviously the Dolphins coming off of a game against the Bucks and the Jaguars against who knows who. Kind of one of those games that belongs in London, and both teams should probably stay over there.
Yeah. No, I agree with you 100%, Tyler. Not that the you know uh, playing conditions would be much different if they played off in Florida. I'm not sure who's the home team here, but yeah, Dolphins. It's at Jaguars, so it's in Jacksonville.
Well,
This,
it's in London.
yeah, okay, you're right. It's in London. I don't know. I'm talking circles because, quite frankly, I don't really care about this game, Tyler. We got a 1-4 team versus an 0-5 team. Urban Meyer, he's happy about this whole John Gruden situation because everyone just miraculously forgot about his, you know, hall pass type night he had in Ohio after his game a few weeks ago. I don't know. I don't think the Dolphins are that bad. Is Tua still out?
Yes.
Gaskin had a huge week, which I completely regret that trade that I denied. Tyler, you sent me Gaskin for Derek Carr. Oh my goodness. I'll go out on a limb here. I say Trevor Lawrence, much like he was undefeated in college, is going to be undefeated in Europe. I say he goes across the pond and he gets his first win of his young NFL season.
Wow. So you're saying the Jaguars upset the Dolphins? I wouldn't really
If it
call it
isn't,
much of an
yeah.
upset. Which I knew you were gonna say. I'm gonna disagree. I'm gonna go Dolphins. I think they have the tools, to win some games this season. Obviously, they put up a little bit of a scrap against the Bucks. Same with the Raiders. They have the tools. They just have to, mitigate them and make sure that they execute. They've just not have been executing all season. Obviously, a lot has to do with injuries, but I think the Dolphins are a little bit of a better team than the Jaguars. Although I don't know. I think the Jaguars don't win a single game this season, to be honest.
Uh,
I think they're trying to get Urban Meyer out. Nobody really wants him as the head coach. So at the end of the day, I think they're just going to continue losing until they get rid of him.
they got to get one in there so we can just say, "Hey, I got one win." And does this not make the most sense of when they would get a win during this season against the Dolphins in London?
I mean, I could see it. I could also see them like pulling an upset, week 15, week 17, week 18. Hell, we have an 18th week this season. It could
Yeah.
happen week 18. But just think, they would be the first 0-17 team. They would be the first team to ever do that.
Hey, I said the Lions were gonna do it just so they get it out of the way, and then they'll have the good karma for the next seasons coming up.
But I think the Lions are a better defeated team than the Jaguars.
No, for sure. Yeah, I don't know if you followed Big Cat's rankings, but he ranks like all the teams under 500. He's got the best teams at 2-3, one and
Yeah,
four, and so on, 0-5 now. So he did have the Lions ranked above the Jags, which not that that's saying much, but
that would be 31-32.
yeah.
Next game we got Vikings versus Panthers. Austin, I kind of want to hear who you have on this one first.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting one. Vikings coming off of a win against the Lions. The week before that, they had a close loss against the Browns, who I'm not sure how legitimate they are. On the flip side, you got the Panthers, who started off hot, Tyler, 3-0. Now they're on a two-game losing streak. The Cowboys, I'll forgive them for that loss. Cowboys are pretty legit. Although the Eagles last week, yes, Eagles are a gritty team. I like Jalen Hurts. He's a winner. I don't know. I feel like the Vikings are a little bit better of a team than their record shows, than people give them credit for. I think I went on record saying this last week, Tyler. The Panthers,
Do you
they,
have where this game's at?
I do. It's in Carolina.
Hmm.
I think there is a little bit of fool's gold going on there with the Panthers, Tyler. I think they looked a little bit better. I mean, for me, their only impressive win so far this season was against the Saints. They played the Jets and the Texans. I don't even know if the Saints was that impressive of a win. After the Packers game, the Saints kind of fell off. They went what, 2-2 cents. As much as it pains me to say it, Tyler, I'm going to have to go Vikings on this one. I think the defense is a little bit better. I think they're a little bit better coached team. I think, with McCaffrey still out, I'm not sure what his status is. They're saying he could potentially give it a go. He's practicing this week. I'm going to have to lean towards the favor of the Vikings in this matchup.
I like the pick. I originally had that pick, Vikings over the Panthers, but I literally just switched it because of your pick. You talked me out of it. I want to go with the Panthers. I'm going with the Panthers. Stephon Gilmore hopefully suiting up this week for the Panthers after being traded. Maybe, I don't know. Christian McCaffrey, they're saying he's a possible go. I think this Panthers defense is legit. They're one of the best in the NFL. Sam Darnold, did he have a one-game fluke, or, is this, back to Sam Darnold as we know?
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a fluke. I want to say it was a fluke. He needed to get that out of his system. It was a bad game. Let's get over it and let's move on. I think this Panthers team beats this this good Vikings team in a small victory. That's going to be a hard-fought one for the Panthers.
I mean, when it comes down to it, though, Tyler, do either of these teams make the playoffs? Like, I don't know. I feel like
I don't
they
know.
might be
That's a good
fighting for
question.
that last spot, in the NFC.
These are two teams that are really good. Like, they're good.
They're really average.
Yeah, like
They're pretty
they're
mid.
they're top echelon of average.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's a good question. If I had to pick between the two, I think it's going to be the Panthers.
See, I don't see it. I feel
I
like
could
not.
see the NFC South putting in three teams.
No, I mean, I think I might have thought that earlier in the season when the Saints completely blew out the Packers and the Panthers, started 3-0. But after kind of seeing more of their identity and who they are, I'd say the Saints maybe squeak in, but the Bears are playing decent. The Vikings have to play them at least one more time. The Lions are scrappy. They play the Packers two more times this season. I don't see them making it into the playoffs, and I don't really see the Panthers making it either. I don't hate Sam Darnold, but I don't think he's there yet in his career. I don't think he's matured enough.
See, I think they do make it. I think they have a very solid team. I could see both of them in there, honestly. I mean, obviously it's a long season. A lot of things can happen. Obviously both teams have both running backs out, numerous games already this season. So it could happen. I mean, I guess we'll
Yeah,
see.
we'll circle back to it. We'll see who's right.
Next game, which I think is the best game this week, should have been flexed into the Sunday night game, but that's neither here nor there. Chargers versus Ravens. I'll go first since I let you go first the past two
Hmm.
times. This was a tough game for me. Obviously, both teams coming off ginormous victories. Lamar is a little bit more heroic Monday Night Football against the Colts, coming back into overtime. Justin Herbert right before overtime, throwing. I think he had 5 total touchdowns or 6 total touchdowns. Just an insane
Hmm.
performance. I think the biggest factor that puts this game over for me and who I'm picking, not only their defense, but I think their offensive firepower is just so much stronger, and that's the Chargers. I mean, their run game is incredible. Austin Eckler is playing out of his mind. Mike Williams had the game of his life last game. I feel like, let's not forget Keenan Allen. I mean, they have pieces all around. Parham scored two games in a row. Who's like 6'8". Like, have you ever seen a 6'8" wide receiver? Just insane. Then you got Derwin
Not
James and
since
Joey Bosa on the,
Megatron, but
yeah, Joey Bosa and Derwin James on the other side. I just think this Chargers team is more complete than the Ravens, and I think they're going to show it. So I'm going to go with the Chargers.
yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on this one, Tyler. One of my early takes of the season, I think I said, Justin Herbert, look out for him to be an MVP candidate. He's living up to my expectations. But for a second, I do want to acknowledge, I mean, Lamar Jackson had a historic night. I feel like he broke a few records, if I'm not mistaken, in which he did, what, 70, 80% of it, a vast majority of it in the fourth quarter, the last 15 minutes or so of the game. Almost had a bad loss against the Colts, but he put the team on his back. He connected, with Marquise, who I think, is back on track to being Hollywood Brown now, had 2 touchdowns. This is going to be a good game, Tyler. I think it's going to be the best game of the season up until this point. Easy to say, right? These are the 2 teams that are at 4-1 so far, so it's like you keep moving on. These teams are proving that they're better. Anyways, I think the Chargers squeeze this one out. It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be electric. I'm super excited to watch this. And yeah, I think like you said, I wouldn't say that the Chargers have a little bit better defense, but I think they have a little bit more chemistry on the defensive side of the ball. These guys have played together for longer. You get young guys on the Ravens D like Patrick Queen, who is a stud, but he's still, kind of finding his place and trying to mesh with more of the veteran guys. But I'm going to stick with the hometown team, Tyler, the LA Chargers.
Next game, we got another hometown team for you,
Mhm.
Rams versus Giants. This is an easy one for me, Austin. I'm going to go with the Rams. Obviously, Giants missing Saquon out this week. Insert name here, I guess you could say, on almost every single player on the team. It's going to be a beatdown. I mean, Daniel Jones might not even play, so easy pick for me this week. Lock of the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah, lock of the week for sure. I mean, I think the Rams are going up against the JV squad of the Giants right now. They got
You
Mike
ever seen the
Glennon.
Little Giants?
Yeah, exactly. Great movie, by the way. Sick reference. I love your references, T. Um, Connor, my roommate Connor, will actually be at this game. Don't ask me why he's flying to New York to watch a Rams game when he lives an hour drive away from their home
Is he a
stadium.
Giants fan or something?
No, he's a Rams fan. I'll tell you after. It's not really that crazy of a story, but
Oh,
anyways,
okay.
he wanted to spend some time in the city, so he's gonna be there to witness a complete slaughter. Giants. I'm not sure what's going on. Saquon can't stay on the field. Kenny Galladay, one of the biggest busts, at least from a fantasy standpoint. For me personally, my podcast or Tyler and I's podcast, but I'm part of it. I'm going to make it personal because I drafted Kenny Galladay in multiple leagues thinking he'd do well. Now this guy can't stay on the fucking field and score a point. Same with Saquon. Danny Dimes, now he's out. I'm not
How
sure
do you
what's
think
going
I feel
on.
about Saquon? I drafted him in 2 leagues.
Yeah, I mean, just down bad.
I mean, the Saquon injury is just atrocious. Like, you feel bad for the guy because he runs into a teammate and twists his ankle on the guy's foot. I've done that multiple times. It doesn't feel good. Then you go to the sideline, you get the announcer's being like, "Oh, look at Saquon's ankle," and it's like literally this big around his
Hmm.
actual like leg. You're like,
I mean,
this guy's
so
not coming back.
Tyler, I'm going to go out on a limb and say this. As a result of his recent string of injuries, Saquon Barkley, confirmed narcissist. I think he has so many
No.
mirrors in his house that he just wants to spend all day looking at himself, thinking he's the best looking man on earth. And it was only a matter of time before he broke one of those mirrors. Now he is unfortunately cursed with 7 years of bad luck, Tyler.
Just because he looks into a mirror on the Razor commercial that he doesn't mean he's a narcissist. He's a former Penn State great, and
Well,
he won us that game where I quoted, "You're either a baller or you're a bitch."
I thought Trace McSorley won you that game.
Well, you wouldn't have Trace McSorley winning us that game without Saquon Barkley's 300 all-purpose yards. So Saquon will always go down near and dear to my heart. The best of the best former Penn State greats.
He's definitely like fucking Christian Bale in American Psycho when he's having sex and he's just looking at himself in the mirror. Like, yeah, you got that. He's looking at the fucking quads.
Odds that he has a mirror above his bed.
Uh, I'd say 98.6%. I bet
mean,
the
I
house
would
on
if I
it.
had his quads. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Wake up in the morning, I just flex them and
He's just laying down. He's got his girl on top, just flexing the quads. Watch out,
yeah.
you're in the way.
I have to see it from this angle.
Yeah.
Next game we got Colts versus Texans. Austin, you go first.
I like the theme here, Tyler. You like giving me the shitty games first. Colts coming off a close loss. Texans
Do you
have
actually like that or no?
no, not. I was being very sarcastic.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll give you all the good ones now.
I know we haven't done it in a while, Tyler, but I'm gonna go with a coin flip game of the week.
Oh shit.
I'll go heads for Texans, tails for Colts, and it is in fact a tails. I guess I'm picking the Colts. So Tyler, with this game that I chose off of instinct and pure statistical data, the Colts will run the ball better than the Texans. They will manage the clock. Carson Wentz will show you why he was brought into this organization. And as you saw, Jim Irsay, he's tweeting out not one, but two Vince Lombardi trophies will be won by the Colts supposedly within the next decade. I don't think there's a shot in hell of that happening, but I do like the confidence.
So I mean, the only way that happens is if Tom Brady signs with the Colts for a year, and then Aaron
Right.
Rodgers decides to retire with the Colts, the following years.
He knows
Um,
something the rest of us don't. I that's all I'm gonna say.
unless Jim Irsay is off the Jim Bean, he might be confusing the next game versus the Texans as the Super Bowl because they're definitely going to win this game. Colts over Texans easy. I think the Texans are going to ride, a little bit of that momentum that they did have against the Ravens in that back and forth game to beat the Texans. Obviously, Texans probably won't win another game this season. Maybe, who knows? But I haven't seen any of the schedule that they got, so I don't know who else they're gonna have. Maybe the Jaguars. They face the Jaguars. So, next game we got. I'll go first.
Oh, okay.
Austin. Or no, I'll allow you to go first.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, this is a semi-decent game. We got the Chiefs versus the Washington football team. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I went first last time, Tyler. Go ahead.
This used to be former. I don't know if I can make this joke, but I won't.
Okay.
I don't want to get canceled. This is an easy
good
pick
idea.
for me.
If you had to think about it.
Yeah, right. What would Gruden do? Do the opposite of that. Washington, probably one of the biggest frauds on defense right now as we speak. Everybody coming into the season thought that they were going to be, lockdown city for a football team. It's quite the opposite. Obviously their offense, has Taylor Heineke, who's not playing bad, Antonio Gibson running the ball really well, Scary Terry doing well, but a lot of it has to do with their defense. Their defense is allowing a lot of points, a lot of stupid penalties. I just think the Chiefs are such a stronger team than this Washington football team offensively that it doesn't even matter how bad the Chiefs are defensively right now. I think this is a good tune-up game for the Chiefs to go on. So I'm going to take the Chiefs over Washington.
Yeah, no, for sure, Tyler. I mean, Washington, they still have a lot of question marks to figure out. The Chiefs, it's been quite the Tyreek uphill battle for them so far this season, but I think there's going to see a lot of Mahomes, a lot of Damian Williams in the backfield, and Darrell Williams, the other Williams,
the one that doesn't have COVID.
What were they saying? What did I see? There was like someone's mentor.
Darrell the Mentor Williams is what they call him.
Yeah, what does that even mean? Isn't he like younger than half the guys? Anyways, Travis Kelsey Grammer is going to be cheersing his way into the end zone. It's going to be all Chiefs all day.
Was Kelsey Grammer in Cheers? I thought he had his own show.
Well, he was in Cheers and then went into Frasier.
Oh, Frasier, that's what it was. Okay. Um, Next game we got. I'll allow you to go first.
Oh, thanks so much. What do we
Yeah,
have
you're
here?
welcome, and it'll explain why in a
Oh,
second. Packers versus
wow.
Bears
What a
in
guy.
Soldier Field. Austin, who do you got and why?
So, I mean, I know that's a rhetorical question, Tyler, but thank you for, prompting it to me, passing me the popcorn. This is no matter if it's competitive or not, I love Packers Bears. Our good friend Brendan, I can't say recurring guest because it was his first time, but guest on the show, co-host. Every single year, the Packers play the Bears, and it happens twice a year, mind you. The Packers Instagram account always posts the Aaron Rodgers to Randall Cobb, fourth down, Packers beat the Bears in like the closing seconds of the game. And I just love, just getting Brendan going, just like terrorizing him with that. It'll never get old. I sent it to him earlier today when I saw it pop up. So I don't know what I need to say more about the game, Tyler. Yes, the Bears are coming off the win last week. They have a winning record. I think Justin Fields playing at quarterback makes them a better team. I think the defense looks a little better. The Packers, yes, they're coming off of a close and ugly, if I'm going to be completely honest with you, Tyler, win against the Bengals last week. But I think that's more so a testament to the Bengals being a legitimate squad and Mason Crosby just having one of the worst games of his career. If he hits one of those, if he hits the extra point, Tyler, we're not talking about any of this. They win a nail biter, and you can just say, oh, it was a hard fought battle between both teams. Now it's kind of blown out of proportion. I guess rightfully so, saying, 5 missed field goals between the two kickers, Mason and McPherson, within like the last 2 minutes of the game and in overtime. But for this one, I mean, Rodgers, the Packers, they're looking strong. We saw the emergence of A.J. Dillon last week. I think they're going to get him more involved. They've been vocal, LaFleur and the rest of the coaching staff, in saying they like the way he catches the football out of the backfield. Tyler has a shit grin on his face. I'm not sure what that's all about. But
I feel like I need like a buzzer to be like, okay, Austin, thank you for your take on the Packers.
I'm trying to talk fast, damn it. Oh, I
My
thought
guy,
I had a bloody
this
nose for a second. I had like a dark
this
hair.
is this is welcome to Green Bay, Wisconsin. This is Tyler Hayes and Austin Cook here with Packers
WFX
Raiders,
501
Packers Radio.
AM radio.
Did you see Aaron Rodgers throw that ball with a perfect spiral? Either way,
Packers
doesn't
win.
matter. Like you said, Packers win this game easily. If I still could say the S word, I would. This would be that type of game. If you know what I'm referring to, thank you. This is not even going to be a good
Chip
game.
pumping. Yeah.
Yes, it's going to be that type of game where I think the Packers are going to blow them out of proportion at home in Soldier Field. Too many injuries to the Bears. I just don't think they're a good team. They didn't even look good when the Raiders were practically handing a game to them last week. So this is an easy pick for me. I think Aaron Rodgers comes out, blows the Bears out. He even said so in the presser today. He was like, I love playing in Chicago. It's one of my favorite places to play. Great rivalry, and he's ready to win. Speaking of the Bengals, like you said, we got the Bengals versus Lions. Joe Burrow is playing in this game, by the way. They did say, and for that, I'm not picking the Lions for the third straight week in a row. That would be, I'm going with the Bengals. I'm going with the safe pick because the Lions have screwed me the past 2 weeks. Although I think they are going to win a game at some point, and it's probably going to be this one when I don't pick them. But Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase connection is just too real. So I just got to go with the Bengals on this one.
Yeah, I mean, damn. I really want to pick the Lions in this one. I feel like it's either a matter of time before the Lions win a game or Dan Campbell's heart just explodes in his chest. But I can't do it this week. I'm sitting here praising the Bengals. It would make me and the Packers and I look like frauds if I just kind of gave them, the Bengals all this credit and then go back and say they're going to get beat by the 0-5 Lions. Joe Burrow's playing. It's an easy W for the Bengals.
Next game we got, I think also could have easily been flexed into the game of the week this week. Browns versus Cardinals. Austin, I'll
No,
allow you.
not with the Browns.
Really?
Yeah.
putting up 42 points.
It's a smokescreen. It's a house of mirrors. You know, they want you to make you
Why do
think they're
you? Let me
good.
ask you this question: why do you hate the Browns so much? What did they do to you?
I don't know. I guess it's just some subconscious hatred because I really have no issue with them. I like Baker. I like OBJ. You know, Nick Chubb,
Kareem
whatever.
Hunt. I mean,
Yeah,
Miles Garrett. I
I like
mean,
Kareem Hunt as a player. You know,
they have a great team overall. I mean, I think they're a good team. They could easily win the AFC North.
hey, I praised him honestly, Tyler. I mean, let me give it a look. They started off the season what 2-0. No, they okay. So they played a close game against the Chiefs, and then they won three straight. They lose to a good Chargers team. I I don't know. As much as I like Baker, and I think he could be a decent quarterback in this league. I think he has been a decent quarterback in this league. I don't know. Dare I say? I think he's met his cap limit of his ceiling, how high his potential can go. I mean, you surround him with all these players. You know, even more so at the skill positions. You know, best running back duo in the league, one of the best receiving cores in the league. They have a solid defense. Yes, they made it to the AFC Championship game last year, but shit, I mean, Mark
AFC
Sanchez
semifinals.
didn't make it to the championship.
Wasn't it Bills versus Chiefs?
Mm, I thought it was
I thought it was
the
the
Browns
Bills.
AFC Championship game. It was Bills versus Chiefs. All right, so I'm giving the Browns even more credit than they deserve. This even furthers my opinion and enforces it that the Browns are trash. I can't even say their team name right. I'm still thinking about Joe Burrow and his luscious hair and the Bengals team. Baker, I think it's time that they move on from you. Put his name on the long list of quarterbacks. You know, that jersey where the person just put all the tape and wrote the next quarterback's last name. Um, they can't get it done. Obviously, they're without Jarvis Landry, but for OBJ, one of the best receivers in the league, yes, still and coming off this injury, if you can't force feed him the football and let him do his thing, you know they did. Tyler, look at what happened last year. Everyone, you know, fantasy owners, they're like, get OBJ the ball more. I think I remember it was against the Cowboys, right? He went off for like 200 plus, like 3 touchdowns. If you get this guy the ball, he's gonna make plays. But Baker still can't get him the ball, and if you can't do that, then you gotta go, bro.
I mean, I'm gonna disagree with you on this one. Last week, Baker
I'm
Mayfield
picking
had a.
Cardinals, by the
I know.
way.
Last week, Baker Mayfield had 122 QBR rating. I mean, the guy is no slouch. He's playing really good football. They had terrible calls last week against the Chargers. One for instance, Mike Williams basically shoving Greedy Williams into the ground. A Williams on Williams crime, I guess you could say. Obviously, they were cousins of some sort,
Hmm.
but it could have cost the Browns the game. I mean, obviously you're saying OBJ. Well, they passed the ball to OBJ. He had easy first down. He dropped the ball. I mean, it's not like they're not trying to do those things. I feel like the Browns are a misunderstood team because they're so used to losing that they don't understand that they have the players. They have a good quarterback with Baker Mayfield who plays really well. Their defense is good. Myles Garrett's playing out of his mind, obviously. They tested him for steroids because he took off his sleeves just because he has monster biceps the size of my head. Um,
And
I
then those are
think this
pretty
is
big because you got a big
those are
ass head.
I do got a big ass head, so his biceps are pretty fucking big. Um, this is the game that the Cardinals lose. I think this is a good game. I think that this won't put any asterisk on the Cardinals being good. This is two teams that are really good. I think it's the Browns that want it more and they need it more. And therefore, I think the Browns are going to go out and take this one against the Cardinals. I think it's going to be a great game. Like I keep saying, I wish they flexed it into the Sunday night game, just like either the Chargers or the Ravens or this game. The next game we got, Austin, Cowboys versus Patriots. I'll go first.
Hmm.
Obviously, this is an easy one for me. I don't think the Patriots are that good this season. Obviously, coming off of a close game against the Bucks, I think this is an easy one. Cowboys are playing great football. They are learning to feed the ball to Zeke, and get Tony Pollard in there and, receiving situations. Dak Prescott playing up to his MVP form like he has been of the past. Also marks 1 year last week, I think, after his game that he completely tore his leg in half. So kudos to him for coming out and balling like he still does. But that's neither here nor there. Cowboys over Patriots for me.
Yeah, I don't really even want to spend much time talking about this. Cowboys are a legit team. I think Mac Jones is a solid quarterback. I think he has a career in the NFL, a solid career at that. But the Cowboys are legit. They're clicking right now. They're playing on all cylinders. Now, not that it really matters because all you did, Tyler, was ask my opinion on this game. However, I do think the Cowboys are still going to Cowboys. I think they're going to have their late season woes, and I think they collapse in the playoffs. But for the right now, current situation, and for the foreseeable future, I think they will be a solid team.
Let me ask you this question. Do you think the Cowboys will Cowboys, that will be like a verb until Jerry Jones, I know this is terrible to say, but until Jerry Jones no longer owns the team, I guess you could say?
Well, I mean, obviously, as much as the Packers are notorious for choking in the NFC Championship game, the Cowboys are notorious for choking in the wild card / divisional playoff games, whatever they end up with seed wise. They just can't seem to get a win, quite frankly, in the playoffs. I'm not sure what happens. It's hard to say when they put the lights and the cameras on them because they play in the most expensive and well-known stadium in the NFL. But something happens, whether it's just too much pressure because yes, they are owned by Jerry Jones. They do play in the most impressive stadium. They are quote unquote America's team. I don't know if that just kind of feeds into the whole stigma of the organization, kind of puts too much pressure on the players or what have you. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I guess I, I don't even know if it lifts after Jerry Jones, however long that may be, because I don't think this guy can die. I think he's like I don't think he'll ever die. I think when he does die, quote unquote, he's just gonna pull a Walt Disney. He's gonna get put in a cryo chamber for 100,000 years.
Okay. Next game we got Raiders versus Broncos. Austin, I'll let you go first on this one.
No, you go first. Stop it.
Okay. Big game, obviously. In the I'll say our new interim head coach, Rich Bushia's press conference, constant words that were said were on to Denver. Their focus is on to Denver. I feel like the Raiders this week will have this kind of stress lifted off their chest, off their shoulders. They'll just be able to go out there, focus on what's important to them, and that's football. This team is good. I think that they have strong pieces, strong young pieces throughout the whole entire organization, offense to defense to special teams. I do think that this team is a lot better than this Broncos team. I'm not going to say a lot. That may be an exaggeration. Broncos are injured. They're playing hurt. They do have some injuries, and they do have some great players. Von Miller, Teddy Bridgewater's rejuvenated. Cortland Sutton's playing great. I just think that the Raiders' defense is a little bit better, and their offense, I'm not sure about how their offense is going to play this week. Who's calling the plays they have a new offensive coordinator that's going to be calling the plays with Derek Carr. I think it might be a little bit, of a first half kind of lull, but I think the Raiders will come out and become victorious against the Broncos this week.
Yeah, I mean, divisional matchup, both teams sitting there at 3-2. There's a lot of
Austin, by the way, I'm picking for you because last week what you said is if the Raiders lose, I'm never picking the Raiders again on the No Look podcast. So you
yeah.
can never pick the Raiders.
Well, I wasn't going to. Even though the Raiders are looking to, God damn it, I had a whole thing going on. You screwed it. Both teams fucking suck. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's the Chargers and the Chiefs in that division. I don't care what the records say at this point in the season. The Raiders don't have a coach. The Broncos can't keep a good quarterback on the field. Teddy Bridgewater is getting hurt. I'm not sure what's going on with the defense. Von Miller can only do so much. Yes, Cortland Sutton had a good game, but he's not going to be enough to help them keep winning throughout the season. But as Tyler mentioned, I can never pick the Raiders again. So fuck the Raiders. I'm picking the Broncos.
Can we throw Noah Fant the ball, Broncos? What the fuck's going on here? Next game we got, as I aforementioned, the game for the Sunday night game that should have been slotted out a long time ago. Steelers versus Seahawks. Do you want to go first? You want me to?
You just went first. I'll go first on this one. Two very mediocre teams sitting here at 2-3. I don't know what to make of this. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm looking at the Seahawks. You know, they beat the Colts, lose to the Titans, lose to the Vikings, beat the Niners, lose to the Rams. On the flip side of it, you know, the Steelers. What do we got here? They beat the Bills week 1. I know that. Lose to the Raiders, lose to the Bengals, lose to the Packers. To me, this is a toss-up. I guess just for my boy, baby DK. Oh, although Russ is out this week, Gino. Fuck. I gotta do another coin flip. Heads is Seahawks, tails is Steelers. And it's heads. I think I was leaning that way anyways. I don't know if Chris Carson is back, to be honest with you, Tyler. But if he is, I'm assuming he is. They're going to run the ball a lot. You know, I feel like Geno Smith can do enough. He's got Tyler Lockett. He's got DK Metcalf. Just put points on the board and let Big Ben make turnovers. That's all you got to do, Seahawks, and I think they will.
So you got the Seahawks in this one?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm gonna go Steelers on this one. This is an easy pick for me. The
Oh,
reason why
yeah,
this game,
Pomoni Bros. Steve Pittsburgh. Yeah. Fuck out of here. This dude's got a favorite team for every fucking division. Switching off.
did you say bro? Did you say Promoni Bros?
Pomani Bros. What the fuck it is.
Promani Bros. That's close enough.
Yeah.
The biggest
Spumoni.
yeah. Choke on my own spit. The biggest factor for this game, obviously, Russell Westbrook.
Oh my
Russell
goodness.
Wilson.
I got him flustered.
Right, you got me messed up with Promoni Bros. Spumoni. What do you sell at Promoni Bros? We sell Spumoni sandwiches. Russell Wilson obviously being out, that should have flexed this game out of the Sunday night game. I do think that the Steelers are back in a sense, not all the way back, because I don't think that they would have beaten the Seahawks with Russell Wilson, but I think Big Ben's kind of gained a little bit of confidence after last game. I don't think this is going to be a good game whatsoever, but I do think that the Steelers are going to win this. Last game we got, good Monday Night Football game, by the way. Bills versus Titans. I'll go first. Obviously, Bills coming off of a huge win. Well, no, I'm saying obviously the Bills are coming off of a huge win. I didn't say obviously.
I thought you meant obviously because
No.
it's a good game.
It is, obviously, but obviously the Bills are coming off of a huge win against the Chiefs this past week. Titans also coming off of a win after losing to the Jets. So I think two teams coming, overly confident at the moment. We'll see, obviously, Derrick Henry, come and after he rushed for 250 yards, I think, last week. And, the Bills playing great defense, playing great offense. Josh Allen making his case for MVP this season, as he should. I think the Bills take this win, though, against the Titans at Monday night. I think it's in Buffalo, right? Or is it in Nashville?
It's in Tennessee.
Okay, in Nashville. I still think the Bills take this win. I think they're too strong. They're way too sexy, right now. You just can't stop them.
Way too sexy for their shirt, and it hurt. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say. The Bills are clicking. That offense is looking phenomenal. Josh Allen is showing you why, much like my guy Herbert is in the running for MVP. The Titans, I don't know what to make of them, right? They lose to the Jets, which, I mean, I guess everyone has one of those hiccup games.
But the Jets?
Yeah, the Jets, right? They lose to the Cardinals, who are potentially and arguably the best team in the NFL. I don't think the Titans are bad. Obviously, they've had some injury. They've been without Julio since what, week 2, maybe? I don't know. Has he missed 2 or 3 games? I think there's rumors or rumblings, whispers that he might come back this week. Although I don't think it makes a difference. I think the Bills' defense is good enough to stop Derrick Henry without fully selling out and loading the box. Then you look at the secondary. They got Hyde. They got Poyer. They have linebackers that cover receivers and tight ends well. I think it's just going to be too much in this one, and I think it's going to be Bills.
Okay, well that wraps up week 6. I do have, Austin, some bonus picks, by the way. NBA starting up next Tuesday. Tuesday is going to be the NBA opener. We got 2 games that are happening, 7:30 game and 10:30 game. First game we got is Nets versus Bucks. Austin, who do you have? Or should I go first? Because I'm kind of putting you on
No, I was gonna say I think it's gonna be all Nets. I think Kyrie's gonna be out there. He's gonna drop 57 points. He's gonna. No, shit. I don't know. I guess I'll take the Nets still. I don't know. I still don't know what to make of the Bucks championship last year. Credit to Giannis. He's a legend. He's probably gonna be a Hall of Famer one day. But I just don't think that was a very convincing NBA championship.
Yeah, for some reason it's kind of like the championship that you don't feel good about. Obviously, Giannis feels great about it because it's his first, but I do think the Nets were a better team than the Bucks last year, and that's not me being biased because I'm a Nets fan. I just think a lot of injuries happen, a lot of KD putting the team on his back. But this is revenge season. James Harden coming back healthy, KD coming back healthy, with or without Kyrie. LaMarcus Aldridge had a heart murmur. He said, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna put my heart on the line and put it on this team." Blake Griffin coming back. We're bringing everybody back. We're bringing it back, and we're gonna bring a championship to Brooklyn. I hope. And it's gonna start with game 1 against the Bucks. I'm gonna agree with you. Obviously, Nets are gonna win the game against the Bucks. Next game we got a very good game, very interesting game. Actually, the last game for the NBA because there's only 2. Warriors versus the Lakers. I'll go first. I'm going with the upset. Warriors coming out. Steph Curry back. Klay Thompson back.
I don't think Klay is back.
Yeah, he is. Klay's back. The whole Warriors team is rejuvenated this season. They're going to get back to being the Splash Bros, adding some young blood, James Wiseman.
No, Klay's not back.
Klay's not back. Doesn't matter. Steph Curry going to be playing up to MVP status. I don't think the Lakers, here's what the Lakers do. They always do this. They're going to come out. They have all this superstar power. They're not going to play up to superstar standards, and they're going to get beat by a team that they shouldn't get beat by. And it's going to happen game 1.
You're crazy.
Warriors over the Lakers.
You're crazy. Lakers at home, I think they win by 30.
30?
Yeah.
What's the spread?
Not 30. I don't know.
Who's the lead scorer for the Lakers? Anthony Davis? Carmelo?
Nah, it's going to be Westbrook.
Westbrook?
Yeah, Westbrook's going to come out and ball. Melo's going to have 15, 10, and 10 off the bench. And when I say 15, 10, 10, I mean 15 points scored, 10 rebounds, and 10, get the fuck out of here, I got it, said. So
that's a solid triple-double.
That's a Melo triple-double.
Yeah. I mean, stats don't lie. I mean, that's a triple-double in my eyes.
Yeah.
But no, that's everything. You got anything else?
No. We're coming right back. We got a new game for you guys. Back for Blood. Tyler and I, we're going to be slaying some zombies and hopefully not getting the shit scared out of us.
I did play a little bit of it. I will tell you, I did say, get the fuck out of here, like a few times. So, not going to lie.
All right.
I was scared.
A few jump scares in there.
Yes.
All right, don't go too far. We're going to be right back with that. Your boy, Yo Soy the Man, goddamn. Thirsty Thursday here on Insane Games TV. We'll be right back.